everybody, it's Pat Jones, and I'm here with my friend Ralph Kepple. Ralph, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's good to see you again, man. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So we got a chance to come down here and visit you and talk about 30 years almost.
Almost.
At East Lake. Talk about all the things that your team has done that you're proud of, and maybe talk a little bit about how you work with the folks at Deere in Greenville. But mainly, how about those Buckeyes this year, huh? Was it weird?
Which sport?
Well, no, football, the only one.
It was a very strange year,
yeah.
And I'm glad they got to where they got to go, but I feel like it was a huge disadvantage to have on again, off again, on again, off again, and
right.
Get to that championship game, and whew, that was rough.
Now, where did you grow up in Ohio?
Mount Vernon.
Yeah, and tell everybody what's that close to?
If you drew a line between Columbus and Akron, it's pretty much right in the middle.
That's a good place to. That's a good way to describe it. And so, what was your backstory? How did you get interested in the golf business?
We grew up on a small little 90-acre property, a little farm. We had some cattle, nothing big, but right across the road was a golf course. It was just a privately family-owned, mom and pop public golf course. I had 3 older brothers that all took up the game and kind of dragged me right along to it. We even had like a little 9-hole course in our yard. So when I was 13, I went to the owner and asked him if there's any work I could do for playing privileges. And they had just cut a sewer line.
Work for golf, yeah. That's always a good
He cut a sewer line through the golf course that winter. So he handed me a 5-gallon bucket and said, pick up all the rocks on this line. That was my start.
Well, let's take a little walk
Sure.
and see the place, because I haven't been here in a few years. Tell us what you've been trying to accomplish in between pandemics and everything else. What projects are you working on? I know you're trying to bring a water line in here at some point.
Yeah, so we were working on a master plan with Reese Jones and Greg Muirhead with Reese Jones's office, and we had intentions of starting that. It's going to be a kind of 2-step process. So we're going to install new main line for a new irrigation system over the winter, and install drainage throughout the golf course, where we never finished our master plan on that. That was supposed to start last fall, but with the pandemic, that got pushed not just for a year, but for 2 years.
Yep.
And then after we got all that done, the next year, as soon as the Tour Championship was over, we were basically going to rebuild tees, greens, bunkers, leave the fairways alone, but we've got a lot of infrastructure, drain pipe issues that are starting to show up. I mean, we're 27 years old since the last renovation, so we're a little bit overdue for getting a renovation going again.
I do see, though, you got some new things done since the last time I've been here. You got your bunker work done and a few other things. Is it where you want it to be?
Well, I mean, I think we're doing really well with an aged property. I think it's really, really good, but it looks a little bit tired right now, and that's why we're trying to get this renovation going and try and freshen things up. And functionally, we're having some issues with some things. Greens aren't draining the way they used to, and that's creating some issues. So
time to freshen things.
Yeah, it's time, and I think everybody knows it's time. It's just trying to figure out the financing for it right now, because in the time we're in right now, it's a little scary. So I get that.
So you squeezed in the Tour Championship last year in the middle of all this craziness, but it was a no fans event. What was that like? Was it odd? It
was odd. Tournament wise, it was, once the tournament was here, it wasn't that different, with some exceptions, but the whole lead up to the tournament just never felt like there was a tournament coming, and it really was difficult to kind of get yourself kind of psyched up for the event, because there was nothing being built. Yeah. And then just a couple weeks before, they started building the only structures they built, which was basically media center and volunteer. Yeah. Actually, they didn't even build the media center, just to build volunteer.
No TV towers.
Yeah. So that was the strangest part, is just the build up to it. There was no build up for the crew. Like, I didn't see the tournament coming. We knew it was coming, but it just didn't feel the same. And then all of a sudden, advanced week, you got Bland's here, the tour agronomist, and then all the other people from the tour showed up, and it's like, well, I guess the tournament's next week, so let's get serious.
I would ask you to tell us your favorite Bland Cooper story, but it's probably not appropriate for this. But so one of the things that you've done now in running this facility this long and managing the golf course here and preparing for events is you've learned the value, I think, probably of having great partners. And that's across the board. I know every year you've got people that are helping to support the team and bring in volunteers and all that kind of stuff. And none of us could do this, what we're fortunate enough to do without those companies supporting you. How important is that to your program?
It's critical. It doesn't matter which equipment you choose to use if the dealership doesn't support it. Just say it's XYZ when you choose X. And X may be a great company, but the distributor's not.
Right.
It just doesn't work.
Right.
There's just too many issues involved with that. So, there's good equipment companies out there, and I think they're all pretty good right now.
Sure.
But the distributors can make a huge difference and make our lives a lot easier in the way they support us.
Yeah, I agree. And when you partner with Greenville, what are some of the things that you've been able to accomplish in shop with their support and help, and some of the things that they've been able to deliver for you to help you out with the tournament?
Well, as an example, there's several examples I could use, but as far as getting parts, for example, they've made it easy to get parts. They get parts here quickly. We've had them send a technician out to help us during tournament every year.
Yep.
We actually was just here yesterday helping us with some things.
Doing bench tests and stuff.
Yeah, so those kind of things, it's kind of hard to put a value to it.
Right. They realize the lifetime value of that relationship they already have with you. It's so important. And I think that you're right. It's true probably for so many businesses in our industry, whether it's the iron dealers or the chemical distributors or whatever. And I think it's just because we're all sort of family.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is one big family. It's a great industry. Yeah. I've never seen anything like it.
Yep.
Most people, when you try and tell them how we all work together, they look at you dumbfounded.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about?
Well, first of all, they don't even know what you're doing. It's like, well, wait, you take care of the golf course? Well,
yeah, you mow grass.
Yeah. When you think about, back in Ohio, the struggles that some of those guys have had too, trying to find the getting stuff sourced and everything else. What do you think that they can look forward to now as a Buckeye? What do you think they can look forward to now with Greenville and their team?
Yeah, I think they're going to get salespeople that are going to try and really help them pick the right machines. They're going to help support that machine through delivery, through selection, delivery, helping them get it set up, any kind of support they need. They're going to get what they need through Greenville.
Very nice. So you have been here 29 plus years, and I can't think of more than a handful of superintendents that have been in place 30 years these days. It's just really unusual. How have you made it work?
How did I make it work?
Yeah.
First of all,
how did you not get in trouble somewhere along the way?
That's a good question. I don't know how to answer that. I was blessed. I was here 2 years before Tom Cousins bought the club, and I was just blessed that he decided to keep me on. He didn't have to do that. I hope that he saw something in me and he wanted to give me a try. That was my understanding. We've never really had that discussion, but it's hard not to want to work for the man and then what he's done around here and the involvement we have with the community. And it's just a cool story.
Yep, it really is.
And it's just, you come in every day and you don't know what you're going to do that's going to involve the community. You never know.
Every time I come back here, things are a little bit better around the golf course too, and that's a great story. That golf is helping to heal a community. It's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're trying to take it all around the country. So they've had some pretty good success with it.
Yeah, it's neat to be a part of that. And we saw Charles earlier, and he's hanging in there with you.
Yeah.
You've got a great team here. And are you? We talked a little bit earlier. You seem like you're able to hire enough people these days, but it's still a bit of a struggle to keep the young assistants and AITs coming in. And you've sort of gotten away from interns, right?
We did, because, and it was really just kind of a timing thing. The Tour Championship is in September, and we would basically almost every intern would leave in August, and it was right when we were at crunch time. We're starting to increase hours we're working, and all of a sudden we're missing everybody. So
what are you going to do?
We decided we would change our model and go to more assistant and training positions. We have 3 of them, and that's really worked out well for us. We've been able to find some really good guys that have hung with us, and I mean, some of them have been here a year, some of them have been here for 2 or 3. One of my assistants now started here as an AIT, and he impressed us enough that we ended up keeping him.
That's terrific. It's fun when you can grow them yourself.
Yeah, it helps.
But it's also fun to kick them out the door. I mean, how many folks have you put out there? Have you ever done a count and thought about how many superintendents you've helped to grow up in this business?
We did a little fun day event in our crew a couple Mondays ago, and that was actually one of the questions, was how many people have worked under me that are superintendents now. And I was trying to count them. I kind of lost track, because for a while there, we were doing a lot of guys through the international program.
Right.
And some of those guys I know are superintendents, and some of them I'm not quite sure. But I lost
in England, or
I was around 25, I think, the last time and there's been several that have gone to different directions in the business and the industry, and some of them have left the industry. So it's kind of like everybody. I mean,
but that's such a thing to be proud of. You know, it's not. You know, we're all fortunate to, pave the way for a few others behind us, but 25 superintendents with that same philosophy, that same thing. You should be really proud of that.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I started counting the numbers. It was a good exercise for me.
Yeah, that's cool. So all I've ever done is to create more little editors out there writing more stories. So it's not quite the same. So what do you hope that you'll be remembered for here? Because there's going to be a time when you're gonna walk away and do whatever the next chapter of your life is. What do you hope you'll be remembered for? Because this is such a special place, and you couldn't have realized 29 and a half years ago.
No, when I started here, I had no idea what was going to happen here. So
but looking back now and beginning to kind of put a cap on this great career, what do you want people to remember about you?
I guess I would just hope that, I don't know, I just hopefully people think that I did it the right way. I did things honestly and upfront, and did what I needed to do to make this the best property we can make it.
So, again, thanks for making time for us, and I can't wait for you to come back and visit us in Ohio again.